But Back to the Future movies. There's 3 of them, right?
That I know of.
There could be a potential 4th.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Well, the theory of this movie is, or this video, is that.
Eric's.
No. I have something. I'm going to let you finish. I have
Go
something
ahead.
else.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is that it talks about how many times would Marty McFly died in the movies?
15.
That's why EK got excited. I've heard this theory a bunch of times.
Right. But how cool would it be to see the 4th movie, which goes around based on this theory of Doc Brown.
Following Doc around seeing all these dead Martys.
Yeah, seeing the Marty fail at what he's doing, then like, oh shit, I got to go back in time here and do this, and go back in time and do that.
In Back to the Future 2, when Marty jumps off the building and then hovers back up on the gull wing of the DeLorean that the Doc is driving,
He was on the hood.
was he on the hood?
Yeah.
He couldn't stand on that
But the
thing.
gull wing was open, right?
It was
Yeah.
open.
But you could see the Doc. The point is, that had to have failed once.
Yeah.
And then Doc came back at the right time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when Biff was going to run him over in the
Right.
in the tunnel,
Right.
was logically he would have went to the other end of the tunnel, thinking, okay, the cars are going this direction. How would he know to come back and then drop the flag rope if he hadn't seen Marty become squishy stuff on the pavement?
There was a band name that in the band name game that Mike from GGR and I play. That was something like 15 Dead Martys or 15 Dead Martys or something like that.
It's funny that you had that Freudian slip because Rick and Morty, the show, is kind of pretty much based upon that theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just that I wonder if Doc Brown ever thought for a second, like after maybe 2, that's just Marty's destiny.
I could do this without him.
It would be way easier without him.
But he also owes him a life debt, so therefore he can't.
What is he, a Wookiee? Come on, man.
Wait, hey, let's not rule out the fact that Doc Brown is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Always
He
saying
gave a ball full of pinball parts to known terrorist organizations.
He really put all his eggs in that basket of completing and successfully testing that
For
time
real,
machine.
in that exact moment.
If he failed at making that time machine, he was screwed.
And there was no going back to get another Marty. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That was the event 0, man. That was. And meanwhile, his crazy ass was like taunting terrorists, and he was laughing about it. Like I said, I gave him a thing with old pinball parts.
In fairness, though, he did see a successful test of the time machine before that.
Yes, he saw us. How about the fact that he comes back at the end, the thing with the no, Marty, it's your kids. They're assholes. Like you went, but you had to come back and get Marty to bring him to the future that hasn't happened yet.
Why didn't you get the Marty from that timeline?
To save his children from becoming assholes, how about you spend just a little bit more time?
I almost said silence your cell phones. Before
Spend
we
just a
went on
little bit more time on fucking working with young Marty than going into the future and saying, wow, Marty, you grow up and you turn out to be a terrible father and your kids are douches. Like, what? Doc, maybe you should hang around so this doesn't happen.
there. Don't leave, Doc. That's a good point.
But you got the time machine. Well, I'd have to sit around and not use my time machine? No, it's half the fun of having a time machine.
But that's what I mean. If Doc Brown leaves Marty's timeline to have his adventures across time as he had planned to do, seriously, that's what he planned to do after he built it. And so, but leaving Marty has such a profound effect on Marty that it turned his life to crap. And so Doc Brown actually needs to be there. He should never have, for Marty's sake, he should never have built the time machine. After all, there's all the dead Martys to consider.
Like the one that he gets in the car accident with in the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in other words, Marty McFly was just screwed from the get-go. The universe did not want him around.
I wonder if he just had this like natural affinity to hang out with Doc Brown because it's like this is the only thing that could save my DNA. Because if you think about it, the idea of his parents getting together is highly unlikely, especially in 1950s America.
Right.
The pretty girl and the socially awkward nerdy guy.
Yeah.
The timeline existed before the time machine actually did a successful test and changed both of their lives. That's the true timeline of Marty's life, where his older brother's still working at McDonald's. You know, his dad's still, you know, and they're stuck in this joyless marriage, and they're all poor, unambitious, and all bad stuff keeps happening to them. Yeah. And at the end of the movie, it comes back and it's like, oh, you know, just this little bit they tweaked.
He's a successful author.
Yeah, successful author. They got money. You know, his brother's got, I always wear a suit to the office. You know, and it's like, hey, their lives got better because of it. And then the next movie is like, no, you can't buy a sports almanac. It's like, fuck you, Doc. I mean, every time we use a time machine, this is just the facts about time machines. Every time we use a time machine, we're fucking with time.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. Let's at least get rich off of this.
See, that's the thing with Doc. He claims that he's wants to keep the timeline pure and unfucked with, unless it benefits him.
Exactly. Like he had a suitcase that was full of different currencies from different time zones and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you've already been fucking with time.
Yep.
If you're taking money, currency from other time zones, you can seriously fuck up with economies of the world like that. You know? Think about that for a second. If you can go back in time and get like raw ore, like steel raw ore, like gold ore, and you get enough, pack the DeLorean full of it, and then you go like far, far, far in the future to a point where gold's at its peak in all of time. You sell it. You'll create like 4 different timelines of crazy shit that's going to happen after that. Yes, you'll be rich as fuck, but you destroyed the shit out of like currency, monetary systems and stuff like that. Where you unload that gold ore is where it's like you're just this catastrophe of finance.
Right.
So
All
whenever
economic
you did
systems
that,
crash.